What's up, guys? It's Mike, the Smokin monkey, and finally I'm coming back at you guys with another SV video. And I know you guys have been missing the motorcycle, and even more recently I've been missing my Jeep because if you guys have been following the channel, then you know that I've been taking that Jeep off-roading and building it up and just beating it up and having an awesome time along the way. So right now we're still waiting for parts on the Jeep, or actually sorry, we have all the parts. I'm just waiting for somebody to weld them on. They're at the shop right now, but the shop is actually really crammed. They're super busy, and it's to be expected. They're a really good shop. They're reputable. They do great work for a great price. So at the end of the day, I'd rather wait and get it done right, get it done for cheaper. And yeah, you gotta wait a little longer. Like they always say, you can't have all three. You can't have cheap, good, and fast. So I'm getting it cheap and good. It ain't gonna be fast, but it is what it is. At least we're gonna get it done. But onto the SV650, onto the motorcycle content today, guys. And I'm bringing you guys a much requested video. A lot of people have been asking for this in the comments, but I've also been thinking about doing it myself just because a lot of you people that watch me are seasoned and veteran riders and veterans and seasoned riders. You've probably put more miles on your machines than I have in my entire life, and that's great. So for you guys, this isn't really gonna pertain to you. But for all the new guys out there that have just started riding or that are just thinking about getting into riding, this is the video for you guys. And what am I talking about? Well, you probably already know because you read the title. It's how to downshift your motorcycle and how to rev match on your motorcycle. So as you can see, right now we're coming up to a stop. I'm in 4th gear and I have to slow down. So I rev match and drop to the lower gear. If you do it properly, you don't get any kind of jerkiness, you don't get any kind of it doesn't throw you off balance, it doesn't jerk you, it doesn't give you that pulling sensation that you dropped into a lower gear. You kind of just drop into a lower gear and it smoothly and calmly slows you down. And that's what I'm going to teach you guys today. But it's used in a lot more situations. You're going to be downshifting more than just slowing down for a light. Sometimes you're downshifting because you want to pass somebody, or you're downshifting because something came up and you had to slow down really quick, and now you're in 5th gear but you should be in 2nd gear. And how do you do that, and how do you match up the RPMs so that you don't start herking and jerking and having all kinds of issues and looking like an idiot? Well, it's actually quite simple, and I'll run you guys through the process today. And as you see there, everybody slowed down quick enough that I didn't even have a chance to run through all the gears and slow down and downshift all the gears. And sometimes you'll have a situation like that where you're not actually stopping and you're actually going to continue riding. And at that point, you have to know how to drop into the correct gear, match the RPMs, and continue going. And there's also going to be other situations, like sometimes you don't want to use your horn. You just want to rev at somebody because it's actually louder than your teeny weeny horn. So you just want to give them, and then you don't want to have any kind of jumping or herkiness or jerkiness. Even me right there, I didn't do it perfectly, but you see what I'm trying to say. You want to be able to play with the throttle, whether going up a gear, down a gear, whatever the case may be, and always be smooth. Have it jump into the gear, drop into the gear, and like it, and not be angry at you and herking you around and moving you around, because like basically what happens is you have to match the speed of the next gear. And if you don't match the speed of the next gear, you're gonna have a bad time, because the bike is gonna try to do that by, when you're dropping it in, it's either gonna slow the engine down or it's gonna lock up the back wheel, or a combination of both. Like if you downshift in too high of a gear and your tires aren't warm, it's going to start chirping at you and it's going to start locking up. And I know because I've done it. So trust me, I can speak from experience, and I can tell you guys, make sure you rev match. And what am I talking about? Well, let's see. Let's go into 6th gear. So now I'm in a little bit too high of a gear to, well, I can still cruise, but say I wanted to drop down a gear. What do? Well, what you want to do is, at the same time, simultaneously, as you pull your clutch in to drop down the gear with your left foot, you want to pop the throttle a little bit. And that's not saying rev it out or floor it or give it all it's got. You want to pop the throttle a bit so the RPMs rise about 2,000 to 3,000 RPMs higher than where you're sitting at currently in this gear. And that will allow the RPMs to match up with the gear lower. Now, it's better for you to rev it higher than lower. And what do I mean by that? it's better for you to rev it out 4,000 or 5,000 above where you're sitting at now and catch it with the clutch on the way back down, rather than you riding and dropping it into the gear without having the RPMs high enough. That's what's going to give you that jerkiness and pull you back and possibly have your tire lock up. So let's drop a gear right now. I'll drop one gear just to show you guys. And what you want to do is, as you pull the clutch in and you push the gear lever down, pull back on the throttle a little bit and get the RPMs up. And while it's coming down, you're gonna catch it with your clutch, the same way as if you would be changing gears into the next gear riding regularly. Now, something like that. So as you can see, I'll do it one more time. And what you're doing here is you're dropping the clutch slowly to catch the RPMs as they come back down on the RPM range. So if you rev it to like 7,000, you want to let go of it nice and slow so that by the time it gets back to where it's supposed to be, you can engage it and you feel it engaging, and that's where you actually let it fully engage. Because see there, if you go a little bit too early, the bike will have too much power, and you're basically, it's the same as if you were to just hold the clutch in, rev it all the way out, and let go of it in the same gear. It's not going to do anything but give you a little bit of a boost and burn your clutch. So don't do that. Let it out slowly, match your RPMs, and let it catch like this. And if you guys saw right there, I went all the way down into first gear. Now, I don't recommend ever doing that unless you're in a situation like I was, where you have to turn or you have to continue driving and you have to continue riding at a slower speed. Don't shift down into first gear if you're slowing down for a light just because you want it to sound cool. Like, yeah, it will sound great, but the thing is, it's a really short gear and you have a higher chance of doing something stupid like burning your clutch or throwing yourself off balance or locking up your tire, because it's a lot harder to match the RPMs with first gear because it's more of a starter gear and it's not really meant for riding around. It's more of like a parking lot or just getting going gear. So don't be downshifting into first thinking you're a badass and dropping it into 11,000 RPMs, because more likely than not, you're not matching the RPMs correctly on that gear. So now let's go through a couple more, just regular riding. Say I wanted to downshift right now. You let it catch. Now, I don't know how much glare there is and how well you guys can actually see on your screen right now, but and I can't really change the camera from my internal mic on my inside my helmet here to the external mic, because all you guys are going to hear is wind. So it's really hard for me to give you the audio. So that's why I'm trying to explain to you what's happening, because even if you can't hear the exhaust note, it's a little bit easier for you to actually understand the concept or the theory behind what I'm doing. So here we have a yellow light, 1, 2, and nice and slow on the clutch, nice and easy on the clutch, and you don't want to give it anything harsh, any quick abrupt movements with the clutch. You always want to be smooth. You don't want to give it, like, you don't want to just drop it like that. You want to always let it out, just let it out. And make sure the same thing, if you're going and you're dropping several gears, always rev it up extra, just because you know you're going more than one gear. So you want to give it that little bit of room to catch that gear at the right RPM, because sometimes if you're downshifting really quick, you're not thinking about, oh, I'm at 7,000 RPM, I'm in fourth gear. You have to think about not crashing into shit in front of you sometimes. So at the end of the day, just drop down the gear, make sure you rev it out enough, and be easy with the clutch. And you don't even have to look at the RPMs. You don't have to stare at your cluster. Like, you don't even have to think about it. For me, at this point, it's kind of like a muscle memory. I don't even really think of it. And if you drive a standard car, it's the exact same thing. You're going to be downshifting, and hopefully you're going to be rev matching. So it's the same theory, same concept. You just want to catch the RPMs at the right range as they're falling, so that it's nice and smooth transition between the gears. So now let me give you guys an example of, say you want to drop down a few gears because you want to actually go fast or go past somebody or whatever the case may be. You're in Mexico. So if you want to drop down right now, so say we're in fifth gear and I want to be in third. not that hard. You can really literally just, as long as you get enough RPMs in the range, you can do it. You can play with it, you can drop it down. I've even had downshift where you're almost redlining the next gear when you drop it down, because sometimes shit happens. People jump in front of you and you got to just stop yourself. And downshifting will help you slow down. Even if the brakes aren't tough enough, if you downshift into the next gear, that gear can only go so fast before you blow up, so it will slow you down. And then there's going to be cases where, say you're riding and you need to, okay, and now look, we're going 90 at 1100 RPMs. What do? You keep revving it until you can see the RPMs go up to the range where they should be at, and you let go of the clutch nice and slow, engage it, and let it drop into that gear. No jerkiness, no unevenness, nothing that's going to actually throw you off balance or lock up the tires or damage any internals on your bike. So basically you're saving yourself from having issues while riding, because you're not going to have to adjust for the tire locking up or this or that, but you're also making your bike last longer, because you're not putting any big drops on the transmission, you're not putting any big loads on the transmission, you're not really straining anything, even though you're dropping down gears sometimes and you're going pretty quick and you need to drop down a gear in a high RPM. As long as you do it right and you match the RPMs, there's very minimal wear and tear on your motorcycle. So see, this light is red now. 1, 2, 3. You can drop as many gears as you need to, as long as each time you rev it a little bit more so you can catch that RPM range. Now, I hope I'm explaining this to you guys in a way you can understand. I honestly try to explain it the best way I can for somebody. Like, the way I think of it is, if I didn't know anything about riding this bike, how would I explain it to somebody? Or how would I want it explained to me? So basically, if you have any questions or you can't understand what I'm trying to tell you guys, please ask me, please drop a comment, because I'm not a teacher here, I'm not the best at everything, and I'm trying to show you guys what I know, or how to explain it to you in a way that I understand it, and hopefully you guys can understand it too. Because if you understand the concepts behind what's actually happening, like I tried to explain why you're trying to match up the RPMs, then you'll understand a little bit easier on how to do it, because you're understanding what's happening behind it, the mechanics. Like, you need to match the RPMs up because the gears need to match, because the gears are different ratios, and if you have a higher ratio gear, you need to make sure that you don't drop it in at the same RPM, because you're going to have an issue. Shit like that. And hopefully I can convey that to you guys in a way that it's understandable and it's easy for you guys to grab, because I know that riding a motorcycle isn't like hanging a picture at your house. You're not going to pause the video 5-6 times and keep going and go back and look, did I do it right? No, you got to look at the video, watch the video, go out, do it, and hope that you remembered. So I'm trying to explain it to you guys in a way that you understand. So please let me know if I did a good job or a bad job, or if there's anything else you guys need to know or want to know about downshifting or how to downshift. But I'll run you through a couple more examples just riding around the city here and show you guys exactly like how to do it, or how it's done, or how I do it. And hopefully you guys can use this video to your advantage and go out there and be masters at riding your bikes and just kill it out there on the streets, because downshifting is more than just something that you need to do. It's actually cool. Like, it sounds good, it's fun. Like, a lot of the times people like to downshift just to go show off their bikes. People ride by a group of other people and they just downshift because that's just what you do, I guess. I don't know, that's the culture, but it is what it is. People love it. But yeah, sometimes you're just riding and you want to crack a couple downshifts so that you can go through a tunnel, make a lot of noise, or show off to your buddies, or just because you want to have some fun. And now you know how, hopefully. It's not hard, it's pretty simple, as long as you're easy with the throttle and you're easy with the clutch and you're smooth with your throttle application. And that's pretty much the basics of it. Like, that's all you really need to know. Like I said, if there's anything else you guys want to know, ask me. But as you can see, like, I'm talking to you guys, I'm just casually riding, and it's just a background thing that you do, or I do. Like, once you learn it, it's very simple. The concept is not hard at all, and it's probably one of the first things you should learn and master before you actually go out and start riding a bigger bike, or start riding on the streets with cars and everything like that. Go into a parking lot and just learn how to actually ride your machine, how to go through the gears, how to go up in the gear, how to go down in the gear, nice and smooth. and make sure that you're comfortable and you know exactly what you're doing, because sometimes if you go out onto the streets, you can get yourself into a jam if you don't know exactly how to ride your machine properly. If you're not dropping the proper gear in, say everybody in front of you slows down, you're in 5th gear, you slow down, and now you're in 5th gear and you got to start going again. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to stall, or you're going to rev it to 7 grand and try to start in 5th gear? So like, you got to learn, right? You got to go out there and you got to practice. So I'm not saying anybody's a bad rider that because they don't know how to do any of this stuff. It's just you need to learn, and everybody starts somewhere. So hopefully my videos will help you guys on your journey. And if you are just starting to ride out, if you're just starting to ride, then don't worry, you will capture all of these concepts. Nobody learns everything overnight, and you'll be able to actually go out there and have a good time and enjoy your bike more once you actually learn how to ride it and master it. So don't be afraid. Go out there, practice, go in the parking lot, go down your street, go down wherever you need to go, and just get on the bike. The more seat time you have, the better. Man, I want my Jeep back. That'd be me right now, just driving around doorless, topless. Fuck. Soon though, soon. Hopefully we get it back by the end of this weekend. So that's about all I really can tell you guys, or all I can really say about downshifting, because I don't know how else to explain it. But hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I will be back with another video for you guys soon. I have a good idea, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna test ride the fastest production electric motorcycle they make, and that thing is actually a lot more powerful than this SV right here. The SV right here makes around 76 horsepower, 75, something like that, 74, I don't know, in that range. And I can't remember the exact torque figures on this, but the one that I want to go test ride, or that I've already spoken to them about test riding, is 140 horsepower, or no, sorry, 110 horsepower and 140 foot-pounds of torque. So it's a machine. It's pretty quick. Hopefully we get out there this week and make the video for you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna ride out there because it's like a couple 100 kilometers to get there, but if I don't ride out there, then you guys will see me on the Zero FR or SR. I don't know, I can't remember the model name. Thing looks like a beast. It looks fast, and from the figures they're giving us, it's pretty quick. So we'll go out there and we'll test it out, and we'll see exactly what this thing's all about. So if you guys are still if you guys are still here, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me today, guys. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button if this video was helpful for you guys. And as always, drop me a comment, because I love chatting with you guys. So if there's anything you guys want to see or anything you guys want to know, please ask me and drop me a comment. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ride safe out there. Peace.